Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Learn English, Refine Your Personality. Today I bring you certain terms to describe people. Yes, a variety of terms that describe people of different temperaments and frame of mind. Let's look at a handful of such character traits, personality traits which can be used in a positive light first. So the first one here is affectionate. Affectionate. Alright, let's look at the meaning of it. This means readily feeling or showing fondness or tenderness. A person who's full of love and affection in his heart can be referred to as an affectionate person. Now let's look at this term in a sentence to have a clarity of how it can be used. Miss Jane is loved by her students because of her affectionate nature. Let's move on to the next term, next positive trait, that is benevolent. Benevolent means well-meaning and kind-hearted. A person who's good at heart, who's kind-hearted, who means well for others can be referred to as a benevolent person. A term in a sentence. Many have benefited through the donations of the benevolent man. Next one, guys, is efficient. Efficient, again a positive trait. This means to work in a well-organized and competent way. So there are people who are capable of so much. We refer to these people as efficient people. Let's look at the term in a sentence. My son Ron is an efficient and an enthusiastic swimmer. Fourth one for the day, guys, gorgeous. I mean, this is how you can refer to a person. You can describe the appearance of a person. Gorgeous. Gorgeous means beautiful or very attractive. Let's use this exquisite, this beautiful term in a sentence. The gorgeous model was sure to win the Miss World title. The next term is sophisticated. Sophisticated. It's a beautiful term as well. This means a person having a great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. Let's use this sophisticated term in a sentence. Sophie is a sophisticated and a confident young lady. Here in this sentence, you actually come across two terms which describe people. One is, of course, sophisticated, and there's another one here, confident. Let's move on to the next one. The next positive trait is humanitarian, which means a person who's concerned with or seeking to promote human welfare. People who work towards the well-being of others. Okay, such a person is known as a humanitarian. The term used in a sentence goes like, the rich humanitarian took up the cause of the orphans. Next positive trait for the day, guys, tenacious. Tenacious, which means a person with a strong willpower, a person who's determined, who's resolute. Okay, so here we go with the sentence and learn the usage of the term tenacious. Only a tenacious person can achieve his goal. Next, very, very important and a very positive trait here, optimist. Optimist, of course, is used as a noun, whereas optimistic is an adjective. Anyway, it means that a person is confident and a very positive person. It's good to have a positive and optimistic perspective of life. Let's look at the sentence that can be used for these two terms. The first one, he is such an optimist that he refuses to give in even when everyone else does. Wow. Next one, optimistic. One must be optimistic about one's future. So the next very commonly used positive trait is charismatic. Charismatic, which means charming. Let's use this very charismatic term in a sentence. Rosie was applauded for her charismatic oratory skills. Let's move on to the next positive trait, guys. The next one is innovative. Innovative, which means creative. Let's look at the usage of the word innovative in a sentence. Jenny has been so innovative at the project that they got the contract right away. Now let's look at some of the terms in order to describe people with some negative traits. Okay, so now we're gonna reflect on the negative traits of a person's personality or character. The first one is temperamental. Temperamental, it means unreasonable changes of mood. A person who's very moody, very whimsical is a temperamental person. Let's look at the usage of the term. One must not be too critical and temperamental while dealing with kids. The next negative trait here, guys, is malevolent. Malevolent, which means having or showing a wish to do evil to others. A person who does not mean well for others is a malevolent person. Okay, let's look at the usage of this term. His malevolent temperament could not be tolerated anymore by his peers. Next negative trait here, guys, is incompetent. Incompetent, which means not having or showing the necessary skills to do something successfully. So it's the opposite of competent, the opposite of the term efficient, which we have just learned. Let's look at the usage of the term incompetent. The incompetent employee was dismissed from his job. Next negative term that can be used for a person is hostile. Hostile, which means unfriendly. Let's use the term in a sentence. Eric was apparently hostile towards evil in the society. The next character trait or the personality trait in a negative sense is pretentious. Pretentious, which means attempting to impress by showing off more ability than is actually possessed. Okay, a person who's not so competent is pretentious at times, not always, guys, remember that. Okay, so let's look at the sentence for this term. He could not carry out his pretentious ways for long. Obviously the truth comes out someday. Let's look at the next negative trait that is used here. Snobbish. Snobbish, which means arrogant. A person who's full of pride, full of arrogance is a snobbish person. She loses all her friends due to her snobbish attitude. So it's not good to be snobbish, guys. The next term for the day wherein we can use the term in a negative light of a person's character is shrewd. Shrewd means clever or cunning. Let's look at the term in a sentence. The shrewd lady filed a legal case against the old couple. Now let's move on to the next negative trait. Boastful. Boastful means showing excessive pride and self-satisfaction in one's achievements, possessions, or abilities. People who talk very high of themselves, people who boast, are those people who are actually very proud of or too self-satisfied about their achievements or possessions or abilities. Let's look at this term boastful in a sentence. A boastful person is mocked by all. The next negative trait for the day, guys, is pessimistic or pessimist. Now, pessimistic is in a noun form, remember that. Pessimistic or pessimist, a person with a negative approach towards life. I've got for you two sentences here for both the terms that are used here. The pessimistic attitude acts as a hurdle in one's success. And the next one, a pessimist always sees the glass as half empty. So they are the ones who always look at the negative side of everything, negative aspect of life. Now the last negative trait for the day is timid. Timid. Timid means showing lack of courage or confidence, somebody who is easily frightened. Let's look at the term in a sentence. He is bullied wherever he goes because of his timid nature. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you have learned a lot of terms which can be used in different ways in order to describe the temperament or the personality or the frame of mind of people. So here I request you to please like, comment, share, and yes, please do subscribe. There are still 50% of people who are watching my videos without subscribing, so it's a request to please subscribe and stay tuned for many more of such videos.